Welcome back to Under the Surface, everybody. I am so excited to be here today. This one, I was actually planning to record this live on Instagram, and I just like didn't have the nerve to do it. I'm sharing some personal stuff tonight. Tonight, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm sharing some personal things today, um, because they're really relevant. And so we have this like lunar eclipse coming up in Virgo, and let's see, it's on the 13th, I think, or maybe the 14th. And today's the 11th. So it's happening at the end of this week. And for those of you who are not like, who don't follow just astrologers on Instagram, so your entire feed isn't just astrology like mine, um, then you might not know, but around these eclipses, the energy tends to be like kind of intense, a little unpredictable. This is typically when like fated events and, you know, twists and turns of destiny occur. Like the whole trajectory of your life could shift. And I wanted to dive into just like some examples of that because I think that just talking this way can feel or sound a little bit scary, right? Like, oh, wow, sounds like big upheaval, sounds like big change. And while that inevitably is true, it doesn't really have to be so scary. And I think if we can take some of the fear out of it, we can really embrace it. And when we can really embrace it, we can really show up in an even more authentic, open-hearted way without resistance. And that's really where kind of like all the magic happens. And I guess I want to start like, first of all, with alignment. Also, I just want to mention, like, first of all, hi. First of all, hi. It's been a couple weeks since I have done an episode. Um, but I'm going to be kind of rolling out quite a few over the next several weeks. I'll just let you know that we are ramping up. We're getting ready to launch Embodied by Design again, which is my signature flagship program, my human design certification program. Um, I'm so proud of it. It's been a long time since we've launched it. Yeah, I'm really, really excited about it. So I'm going to be sharing more over the coming weeks about that. But I just wanted to let you know off the bat that we are doing sort of like a secret behind the scenes waitlist launch that is going to be opening up in, yeah, very, very soon. So if you are in a place right now where you want to integrate human design into your life, really feel more embodied in your authentic energy and purpose and desires. And you also want to integrate human design into your business, right? Like really design and scale your business in a way that feels authentic and aligned for you. And then also you want to incorporate this into your work. So, like into your work with clients, into your positioning and your marketing, things like that. Um, Embodied by Design covers all of this. It's a really amazing program. It's very unique. Can't wait to be sharing more about it. But, if it's really calling to you, just hearing as much as I have said to you, I encourage you to get on the wait list, which you can find the link to that in the show notes. Hop on the wait list. It's going to be a quick and dirty wait list launch. You'll only have a couple of days to get in there, but we'll have some exclusive bonuses, discounts, all the goodies, all the usual launch goodies will be available for the waitlist launch. So, yeah, go ahead and do that. Also, I have an announcement coming at the end of this episode that I think everyone's going to be really freaking excited for. I know I am. I have not done anything like this in a while. So, yeah, that's going to be exciting. So, just stick around till the end. Okay, this isn't going to be a crazy long episode, but I'm going to start with some personal stories. So, first of all, I want to share with you that there was an eclipse that happened March of 2015. And that is actually when I got pregnant with my son. Okay. So this is like, you have to understand that at the time I had just moved in with my ex, my children's father. I had just moved in with him a month prior. This was not part of our plan. Okay. It was not part of our plan to be like having a baby at this time. We were like going out, we were having a good time. Like, it was just not it was just not where we were at, right? But then obviously we were. And it really was just in the moment, I was so incredibly scared. In the moment, I felt like I can't possibly do this, And it was like every part of it felt so, I can feel it in my body right now. Like every part of it felt so scary to me. Every part of it felt so insurmountable to me. I couldn't see myself as a mom. It's like I could, but only way, way, way into the future. Like I was like, I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. Right. And so, it really changed the trajectory in my life where it was like, and I remember at that time like feeling a little bit lost as well. Like I had graduated school and was like peeking around at graduate programs and applying for jobs, but it was like nothing felt right. You know, nothing felt really right. There was no manifestor urge behind any of it, right? There was no energy behind anything that I was like looking into. And then when I got pregnant, it was like I had this intense focus all of a sudden. And then, I did as a 1-3 does and started going down all the rabbit holes of all the things having to do with pregnancy and birth and labor and like all of the things. It just like it led me down such a path, not just motherhood, but like finding my own way and following my intuition and, uncovering new levels of myself. Like it was just such an initiation in every way. And I think back at that time and I'm just like, I was so scared. I was so upset. I was so like, it was not a thing where like I had a lot of emotions, is all I'm gonna say. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I think back on that, but now, you know, almost 10 years later, I'm like, actually, yeah, exactly 10 years later, I look at that and I'm like, that was the biggest blessing of my entire life, you know? The scariest thing, but the most miraculous. And I want to talk. So there's one story, but like this is why I want to talk about alignment because a lot of people talk about alignment like it's always like this easy feel good thing. But what not many tell you is that alignment will like wreck your life first. Like it'll feel like your life is just falling apart. It'll rip away everything that's not actually meant for you. And, a lot of people are not ready for that. And so it feels like a disaster. It feels like crisis. You know, and I know because that has happened to me. And to give you another more recent example, you know, many of you have been following along with me like this whole time, like these last 10 years, right? Like, because when I got pregnant with my son, that's also when I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Because I know I want to stay at home with my son, but I also, don't want to be 100% dependent. Like, I want to have something for myself too. And that's really when I started with, online business and coaching and everything. So again, like just another example of how that was such a blessing. But um, fast forward to just a few years ago, and it was like I was in this place where we had just moved to Connecticut from Hawaii. Like I knew that things needed to shift. I knew that things needed to change. There were things within my relationship with my ex that like were out of alignment for a while. And I could feel the misalignment in so many ways. I mean, in so many ways. But I didn't want to face what it would actually mean for me to like actually come into alignment with what felt clear and right for me. Like it took me a while to get there. And because if I got really honest with myself, if I really stepped into my manifestor power and I initiated that change, I knew that my entire life would shift. And, it did. It did. And I informed on, what needed to happen and like how I was feeling. And, he responded as a manifesting generator does. And he responded by moving to Florida. very suddenly. Like, so suddenly I'm like left here and I'm holding the pieces, what I thought would be like, okay, well, we're going to split up and then we're going to split the kids, 30/70 or 60/40 or whatever. And we're going to be like co-parents and all this stuff. Like, I really thought everything through as we do, right? Like we want to control the outcomes. We want to like know what's going to happen. We want to have our plan before we like make that leap. And sometimes having the plan is like what gives us the courage to make that leap, but very like it's not very often that that plan actually comes to fruition, right? Like usually there are lots of unexpected twists and turns and like it never plays out how you think it's going to. And I can certainly attest to that. And so I thought that it was going to be like this 50-50 parenting situation and like we would continue on co-parenting the way that we had been. And obviously that was not going to be the case. And I'm like left here and I'm like holding the pieces, my life as I knew it was gone, and not in this like clean break, fresh start kind of way, but in a holy shit, like how am I going to survive this kind of way? Like this is what my commitment to alignment gets me, you know? And this is the thing, like this is the fallout sometimes, like when you take that leap towards what feels right for you, what feels in alignment for you, and like when it feels like destruction follows, when it feels like there's like the fallout from your decision. And that's like what happened with me. The next thing that happened was like my entire reality at that point showed me the truth about where I had been lying to myself. Okay. Cause like I remember in 2022, so this was like a year before this, split. Um, I had hired my business coach, Sam Garcia, who's the founder of The Dirty Alchemy. She's amazing. She wrote Regenerative Business, the book. Like, go follow her if you're not already. But I hired her with the goal of I want to be able to, like, I want to have the ability to pay all of my business expenses and all of our family expenses, like for the house, for the kids, all my personal expense. I want to be able to pay for absolutely everything, not because I have to, but because I can. Right? Like I want to be able to like have I that's where I want to be in my business. Right? And I hired her knowing that I was ready to scale and I was ready to change the way that I show up and change the whole structure and what Sam calls the ecosystem of my business. Like I was ready for all of that. And I was ready to do it in the manifester way, not in the, feel like you know what I mean. All right, I wanted to do it in the manifester way. So I hired Sam. Well, what happened? I claimed that, and then what freaking happened? Well, everything fell apart, and I could then see at that point how much I was not following through on what I was saying that I wanted because I could see that, like, I had been saying I wanted freedom, but I wasn't actually building a business that gave me that. I had been saying that I wanted support, but my business was still 100% reliant on me. And when I suddenly had to be 100% present for my children, who at this point were absolutely devastated, I saw just how unsustainable everything actually was. My revenue dropped 85% overnight when their father moved out. And because I hadn't actually created what I said that I wanted, what I claimed that I wanted, I had still been holding on to pieces of the past out of fear, out of comfort, out of avoidance of what full alignment would really require me. And I say this to my clients all the time. I say this to my community all the time. I'm just like, what got you here will not get you there. And I knew that. Like my intuition guided me to Sam, but it was like my own resistance that kind of shot me in the foot. It was my own res and everything. happens the way that it needs to happen. And, like I've got the gate of crisis, I'm a 1-3 profile, I've got the gate of, like, I've got all these things in my design that are like, okay, well, we can see how it would be like a situation where nothing's going to change until this like crisis mode, you know? And it was like suddenly exactly what I said kind of came true. And then I was like, okay, well, I want to be the one who can hold the responsibility of financing our life and this business. Well, guess what? That's exactly what I got. But I certainly didn't get it in the way that I thought I was going to get it. I certainly didn't get it in the way that I really wanted to get it. I got it in a way that had me struggling, that had me feeling like I was suffering, right? And there's a lot of value in that too. Like I'm not discounting that. And again, I really do, I'm one of those annoying believers that everything happens for a reason and it happens the way that it's meant to. And also, was all of that suffering and everything necessary? No. Did I know better? I think I did, you know? And I let myself coast because I could, you know? It was not dire straits until it was dire straits. So, and this is where the shift can really happen, right? So I'm sitting here and I'm just like, what the actual fuck am I gonna do? Like, what is happening, And that moment forced me to make this decision. Like, was I going to let this be the thing that broke me, or was I going to let it be the moment that changed everything? And I'm not going to say that it was like, boom, overnight, here I am, like, new me, you know, doing all the right things. Cause, like, it's messy. Shifting like that is messy. Shifting it into a whole new version of yourself is like, I mean, I feel like it always is for me anyway, you know, but I had to fully step into my power, not just talk about alignment, but actually live it in every area of my life, no matter what I had to release in the process. And this is where it's like, you have to be so fucking brave to choose your alignment. Things are going to fall away. People aren't going to understand. Your body is going to be screaming at you because it's like, no, 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 we're used to doing it this way. What are you doing? And you're like, your mind is also like yelling at you because it's like, wait a second, we got to like stay safe here. What are you doing? This is unfamiliar. And you know, it's like you've got to like hold yourself through that. But, and like, and that what that's, it's not easy to do that. It's not easy to like, none of it's easy. I mean, but it is simple and it was right. And now I'm in this place where everything feels like it's falling into place. It feels like it's shifting in the most magical, aligned ways. And not because it was easy, but because I was finally willing to surrender to the version of me I had been resisting for so long. Feeling like I had to change something about myself first, feeling like I had to, you know, what fill in the blank, like I had to be more this or more that or less this or less that, or it's just like we make up all these rules about why we can't have what we want and be who we want to be and do what we want to do right now. We won't allow ourselves. That's what it is. That's what the resistance is. And anything that pops up that confirms that is, that's the manifestation of that resistance showing up to shine, to reflect that back to you so that you can see it. It's not to confirm it so that you'll believe it. It's to show you where your own resistance is so that you can tell a new story, right? And so this is what I want you to understand. If you are waiting for alignment to feel safe, or like you're waiting until you know how it's going to turn out, or you have this perfect plan, or you're waiting until you have it more together, or you're in better shape, or you have more money, or you have the right connection, or like literally, I mean, honestly, like if you're waiting for anything outside of you other than just that feeling in the middle of your being that tells you this is the right thing or this is the right time or whatever. Like, no matter what you're waiting for, you will stay stuck. You just will. And we all know those people who stay stuck. We all know them. I know lots of them. And there's literally no judgment because I have had periods where I feel stuck too. And I fully believe that anyone can unstuck themselves whenever they want. That's why I never shut up about it. That's why I always try to hold the vision, the highest vision for every person that I come into contact with, even if they're struggling and they're kind of down in the dumps and they're like, you know, and they keep repeating the same cycles over and over and over and over and over again. I will be that one person who will always hold out hope for them, you know, because I truly, truly believe that, you know, it's like every time, every day is like another chance that things can change. And I've seen it happen. So I know it's possible. And, you know, that was a little bit of a rant. But anyway, I also want to say that living your design, right? Like I haven't really talked explicitly about human design in this episode, but like, you know, for me as a manifester, and like if you're a manifester listening to this, like shoot me a DM, let me know if this resonates. But it's like I'll have this vision and it's like I'll have this vision and then it's like I get tripped up because I'm like, okay, well, all these pieces in the vision have to be in place and I'm not ready because of blah blah blah. It's like I put my own limits on myself and I like wait until the vision is like perfect before I really go for it, forgetting that like I have no idea how the vision's actually going to manifest because I can't until I actually initiate it and I actually start speaking it out loud and I actually start observing like who and what is responding and how things are falling into place. But like what I wanted to say about your design is like living your design isn't about learning more. It's about having the courage to trust yourself enough to act on what you already know. Like aligning with your human design type, strategy, authority, that is just about like cutting out the habit of outsourcing your authority and bringing your authority back to yourself and being like, okay, assuming that you have all the answers. Like it's going in within yourself. And that's a real reason why so many people stay in the cycle of knowing but not changing is because they're afraid of what will fall away when they do. I always say this, I'm like, living your design is a radical act because when you are truly living your design, meaning you are truly living by your own inner compass, right? You're not making decisions based on like what your partner wants you to do or what your children want you to do or whatever. And like, I know this sounds selfish, but you have to understand this as well. Like, you are wired. You are wired. You listening to this, I know because I know who resonates with my work. I know who loves listening to me because we're kindred in this way. Okay? Hear me when I say this. Your desires, like you as a gold-hearted, like healer, helper, giver, like you are a person, I know you. Your heart is one that desires to bring value to other people's lives, bring healing to other people, bring happiness, bring grace. Like you have a desire to contribute to the world in a positive way to make people feel good. You have a desire on your heart to do that. So I need you to know that when you're living in alignment with who you truly are and what you're truly meant to do, that is exactly what will happen. You will have a positive impact on other people. You will help other people, right? You don't have to figure out how to help other people. You have to figure out how to be more yourself, right? You have to figure out how to make decisions based on that whispering voice inside of you. And you have to be able, like, you have to be able to trust it and trust that even if things start to fall away and it feels scary and there's grief and, you're not sure how things are going to shake out and you're having trouble, like, being brave and having that faith, like, you know, all of those feelings are teaching you something so valuable, right? These experiences that I have shared with you today have taught me so much about myself, about people in general, about relationships, about children, about parenting, about business, about integrity, respect, responsibility. Like I could go on and on and on. Love, like I have no regrets. I would not take back a second. Like, as painful as some of it has been. And that's what life is about. It's about experiencing it. So, moving past that fear of how things are going to change and trusting whatever is on your heart and trusting yourself to be able to hold it, that is when everything shifts. So, with all of that said, I have 3 minutes before I need to shut this baby down and go pick up my children from school. So, let's get this out, okay? This is why I am going to be teaching a 3-day free live initiation called Embodiment Codes. Okay. Not to give you more information, not to spray you with an information hose, but to give you the actual experience of stepping fully into alignment, releasing everything that isn't meant for you, and finally moving from knowing into full body living. Okay. You're going to live your design, embody your design. You're going to learn what this can look and feel like for you in your work, in your business, as far as actually building and scaling your business in a way that aligns uniquely with you, positioning yourself, giving yourself an edge in your expertise or your industry by, embodying your own design and also integrating this into your work. We're going to be covering all of this. So you can find more information at the link in the show notes, but Embodiment Codes is going to be absolutely just fire. I don't know why that just came to me, but I'm like, it's just fire. It's just fire. Okay. You have to be there, be in the room. There's going to be a lot of exciting things happening. I am like so fucking ready for this. It's been so long since I've done something like this, but I'm so ready to just give you a felt experience of release and expansion and transformation. And it's going to be a true initiation into your next level, into the next version of you, your next level identity. That's what this is going to be. And you're going to learn about your own human design. You're going to learn how to actually embody it, how to start integrating this into your work, and how to really align your life and your business with it. So, yeah, if you're into all of that, please join us for embodiment codes. My goal is to get 1,000 people signed up for this event. So it would honestly mean so much to me if you could take that link and after you register, after you sign up, it's free. Did I mention that? After you sign up, it would mean so much to me if you could send it to just a few people, whoever you can think of that would really enjoy something like this and get something out of this. They don't have to have knowledge of human design prior to joining. So, yeah, it would be amazing if you could do that. Um, and, let me know too, so I can thank you personally. Send me a DM on Instagram. Otherwise, I gotta go. I gotta go get my babies, but I love you guys to the moon. Have a beautiful eclipse week. I will be back before you know it with a new episode. Lots of exciting things happening. Let me know from today's episode what really resonated with you. And yeah, I'll see you at Embodiment Codes. All right.